Hello my loves, welcome back to another video for our halfway to Halloween series. I am so excited for today's video. It's a little bit of a gloomy day and I thought, you know what, today is perfect to decorate my favorite spot in my home, which is right here in front of this electric fireplace. I sit here every morning, enjoy my coffee. I sit here when I need to decompress and doom scroll, and I sit here when I want to read a book. It's my favorite spot, as you can tell. The fireplace also has like the sound effects. It makes it feel like you're in a cabin. I love it so much. So I wanted to go ahead and show you guys how I decorate for spooky season. So let's get into it. So in preparation for this video, I did go ahead and just clear everything that I had previously on my fireplace mantle, wiped down the surfaces, cleaned everything, so everything's ready to go. I am going to do something a little different this year. It's the first time I'm trying this out. So I purchased a renter-friendly wallpaper that I want to use as a backdrop on this kind of glass portion because I currently don't have anything that I think I could hang up. Ideally, this is kind of like a stone on top, so nothing really sticks to it. It's a rugged stone. So we're gonna try wallpaper. So I'm excited. So far, step one is complete. I did run out of wallpaper and it did take me a little bit longer than I anticipated. So as of right now, this is what we got. So triple check your measurements. Okay, I did it. Learn from my mistakes. But it's okay. At least it's just the bottom portion that's missing, the wallpaper, and I'm sure my decorations will be able to cover that up. So I'm excited. Let's get decorating. Now, as I begin decorating, the first thing I set back down is my original runner that goes on my fireplace, just so that there's a non-slippery base for the crushed velvet runner that I created to go on top of that. It tends to just stay better if it has that runner underneath, so that's what I'm doing here. And I'm just making sure that the velvet runner is even on both sides. I'm very big on balance and symmetry, so I tried to eyeball it and use the fireplace as a point of reference. Now that the crushed velvet runner is down and in place, I'm going to put over it the creepy cloth that I picked up at Dollar Tree last year. I was scared they were running out and I purchased several packages, but I've only ever used 2. So these are the same 2 that I've already had opened. So I'm putting one on each side and kind of draping it over the front and sides to give it that like spooky kind of goth vibe over the velvet runner. If you've never worked with creepy cloth, it is pretty manageable and flexible. Just be careful with anything getting caught in it. It will kind of rip the strings apart a little bit. It kind of pulls and tears. It's very flexible, but it will also fall apart pretty quickly. So take your time when you're draping this, wherever you're using it, over a lamp, on a counter, on a chair. Just be careful that the draping falls nicely and it doesn't get caught or ripped on anything. Unless that's a look that you're going for, that would be a really cool look with the creepy cloth. Now the fun part begins. I usually, once I have the base kind of set up, I like to unpack all the items I have in my Halloween bin that I keep in my garage. I tend to forget from year to year if I added anything the previous year or what I even have or what still works, if anything needs new batteries. So I'm just taking my time, taking pieces out, making sure that their quality is still good, in good use, batteries don't need replacing, so that we can go ahead and set up our mantle. Last year, I was inspired to create a melting candle 5-piece for my Halloween decor. I used hot glue to give it that melting effect, and then I painted it with black acrylic paint. And in order to light them up, I use LED black tea lights, and I put them individually each. So I bought like a 24-pack, which is great because they blend right into the piece. You can't really tell unless you're really close. And I also use those tea lights in the black haunted little house on top of the mantle that you're seeing, and in the little tea light holder behind the spell book, and it just kind of gives an extra glow up top. You guys, this is where I may have underestimated the fake spider webs because I've never used them before. I had them, again, Dollar Tree came through last year, didn't use them last year, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna use them this year. Boy, did that almost send me into a spiral because they're very hard to set up when your walls have no way of attaching anything to them because it's stone. So I was having to be a little strategic with the corner edges of the stone and kind of loop them in, almost like tuck them in a little bit and to create shapes like spider webs. In my head it worked a lot easier than physically, so it took me a minute, but I think I managed to get the vision that I was seeing in my head out onto my fireplace. Let me know what you think in the comments. I would also recommend when using these spider webs, be mindful of any flowers or, fake trees that you might have that fit that Halloween decor, because these will get stuck to that, especially if they're made out of velvet. I learned that the hard way. It took me a minute to get the spider webs off of my decor. Almost had to rip the spider web off, but I managed. I thought of using the little tree with the branches as an anchor. I think I may have used it towards the end once I kind of knew that the wall portion was done correctly and it was staying put, because that was the hardest part. Anytime I would tug and pull, one part would come off and I would have to reset that back on to the stone. So yeah, it was a lot of hit or miss, trial and error, figuring this one out. Now that I finished fighting with one side of the spider webs, I gave myself a little bit of a break and focused on the center of the fireplace. I kind of wanted to elevate the spell book I had to see what I had, and I found a little, I believe it's like a flower pot. I had painted it black to create like a mini floral arrangement, maybe for the fireplace, maybe for my dining table. Didn't get to it, but it is painted black, so I used that to elevate the spell book on the fireplace, to create a point of focus on the fireplace. I'm sure I'm not the only one who rearranges pieces 10,000 times before being happy with the way that they visually look. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm rearranging the pieces around, playing around with what I like as far as like what's on the top, what's on the bottom of the fireplace, and switching things around. I believe I do it again once I'm done completing the right side of the spider web and fighting with that side. So you'll just see me here. I'm trying to figure out where I want the pieces. You guys, watching this playback, the break looks very short-lived, but I promise it wasn't. But now we're moving on to the right side of the fireplace with the spider webs. I moved everything off that side just because I learned my mistake from the first round. So moving everything out of the way, that way I have more room to be flexible and pull, tug, and drape the spider web and trying to get it hooked onto the stone wall as easily as possible. It was still a struggle, but enjoy seeing me struggle for the second time. You have no idea how excited I was by this point when I realized I was almost done having to set up these spider webs. I was so over it, and ready to just finalize where I wanted everything on the fireplace and enjoy it. The last problematic item to add to the mantle is a black glitter vine garland that I found at Dollar Tree. It is so pretty, it's subtle, you gotta get close to it or let the light hit it to really see it. However, it clings to everything. So imagine with the creepy cloth, it was very difficult to maintain patience at this point after the spider webs and everything. But I just slowly took my time, placed each vine where I wanted them to go, and kind of attached them to the creepy cloth. Now that I have all the bigger pieces placed where I want them to go, I added a few finishing touches like some sparkly black bats to the creepy cloth. I added them to the little branches by the spider webs. And I also included some purple glitter pumpkins, super cute, really tiny. I also added white mini skulls and silver mini skulls, kind of to bring pops of colors throughout, and very subtle, and they're so tiny that you really they're not going to stand out too much, so I really like that. They're just a little bit of a spooky touch. That completes this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on how I decorated my fireplace down below in the comments. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on that bell notification so you're notified when the next video comes out. I'll see you in the next one.